Hello crafty people, it's Sharon here and I'm back to continue with colouring our lovely gnome and tortoise set. Today I'm going to focus on our tortoise and I am going to start with his body parts really and then move on to the shell. So once again as a reminder, today I'm using my Ohuhu brush pens and I'm using the brush because this is quite a large stamp and it's much easier to colour in with a brush pen rather than a pointy pen. So starting off with his face, I think today I am going to take my lightest colour, which I have used G120, which is called a yellowish green, and I'm going to colour the whole of his face. Now the option with his little spots here is you could do those in an alternate colour, but I'm actually going to just colour in one colour on this occasion and shade it. So here we go, applying as usual the light colour all over the face, and because his eyes are blacked in you don't have to worry about going over that area because there's no white areas on his eyes. There, he looks pretty cute already, doesn't he? There you go, so a nice coating there. Now this time I think I'm going to go straight in with my dark colour, which is G360 Pond Green, and I'm going to go around the edges and I'm going to make a thicker line at the bottom because I think that's where there would be more shadow. And what this does, it will give a darkness to the edges of the face so that you feel like it's a round shape. I'm going to go to my middle colour now, and the reason why I went straight to my dark is I don't want to fade it out too much, so I thought I would just put that in first, and I can always go back in afterwards as well. And again I am colouring, coming in a little bit further and then back to my pale colour, and I'm colouring again, but I'm just going to leave the bit round his eyes so that it is slightly paler again. We'll see how that works out. And now I'm just going to go back to my dark colour and I'm dabbing around the edge, and this breaks that line up a little bit but also gives a little bit of texture. If you imagine he had a bit of texture on his skin. My mid colour, which is G140, sorry I'm not sure if I mentioned that before, and it's called horseradish, and again I'm dabbing and finally back to my light colour, and I'm just going to dab a little bit more. So I think that's given him a little bit more interest, and I'm dabbing in the middle as well. There we go, and let's see how that dries out. Next I'm going to move down to his neck. Now that's going to be quite a dark area because his head is shadowing it and so is his shell. So I'm going with my light colour, and then this time I'm going to use my darkest colour and just swipe out like so. And as you can see, that's quite a bluey sort of a green. So on this occasion I am kind of going over the top completely with my mid colour just to bring that down a little bit. Back to my light colour, and I feel like I've lost a little bit of my dark, so I'm just going to go in and add that in, and because that area is quite wet it's going to pretty much blend all by itself. Okay, now we'll go down to his little feet. Now I'm going to colour all of his feet in green except for his, I don't know if you call them toenails, but that's what I'm calling them, and I'm going to make those brown just for a little bit of differentiation. But meanwhile I'm going to do 2 feet at a time, so the front 2 and then the back 2, in with my light colour G120, and again you can use any pens that you've got. So Crafter's Companion have some brush pens, there are Ink Lily brush pens, there are all sorts, and you know it's more a case of which colours you like more than anything. I am going with my dark again, and this back leg is going to be much more in the shade. This leg in front is going to be less in the shade, but the shell's definitely going to cause it a little bit of shading. So I'm just kind of giving an indication of where I think that will be. Now I'm going to my mid colour. I'm going over the top of everything and coming out a bit, and then I'm going to do the same on the front leg, and I've just added a bit of the mid shade at the front there so that it gives a little bit of curvature on his leg. I nearly said arm then. And now back with my light colour, and I've just left a tiny little bit in the middle there just as a highlight, and I'm just going to quickly go on that bit on the end there. So there you can see, hopefully, that he has gone from dark through to medium to light, and his leg looks a little bit curved. Okay, let's go on to the next one. I'll perhaps zoom in a little bit closer so you can get a better look. But we're basically going to do the same thing. So remembering that this leg at the back furthest away is going to be almost completely in shadow because it's kind of underneath the shell, and the leg nearest to us is going to be less in the shadow, but we want to get a bit of a curvy feeling to it. So back over with my pale colour G120. Now I'm going to my dark colour, and I'm adding quite a lot of that on that hidden back leg there, and then I'm following the same process of shading on this leg as I did at the one at the front. So I've gone under where the shell is and at the back there, because I think the sun's coming from the right side of the picture, so it's shining on his face and the front of him. Now I am going to G140, the mid colour, and I'm going over everything just to take down that blueness a little bit and coming out a little way, but leaving a little bit of a palest colour. And on this leg I'm going to go round the side to give a curve at the front there, colour over everything, and then come back into the middle a little bit, and then back to my light colour. Just going to bring the little highlight on that leg there, and now I'm colouring into the middle and just leaving a nice little highlighted area. So you can see there that those legs will actually come together really quickly, which is nice. Now I'm going to do his toenails, and for that I have selected a number of browns. Oops, sorry about the wobble there. So I have gone for E colours this time, which are browns. I have E210, brick beige, as my light colour, E220, sand, as my medium colour, and E170, Carib cocoa, as my dark colour. So beginning with 210, these should be very quick to colour. I'm just going to go over all his little toenails, and I'm doing this close up so you can see, but I'm actually doing the front ones at the same time just because they're little tiny areas, and I'm just making a little curve, no blending, just going in there and drawing a little arc on the side. And then I might go back to my medium because that dark is quite a lot darker, and back to my light. There we go. I'm going to zoom out again, and hopefully you can now see that all of his feet are coloured. Now, whilst we're down at the bottom here, it seems like a good time to just put some grass in. Now I have gone back to the same greens that I used for his hat. So what's going to happen is there's going to be a little bit of balance between the greens up here and the green down here, and our tortoise won't get lost in the greenery of the ground because it's going to be a slightly different colour. So just as a recap, I have used G8 grass green, G2 vivid green, and for my dark colour G1, which is emerald green. So this is really free flow, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn my bit of paper around a little bit, just because it's easier. I'm left-handed, so I'm turning it round clockwise. And to start with, I'm just going to scribble in with my lightest colour a bit of a ground line. And as you can see, I'm going up and down, which gives the appearance of a little bit of grass. And then I'm going underneath and scribbling. And you'll notice I'm not going with a straight line. I'm kind of get that to look like it's almost fading out. If it was a straight line, it would be too harsh. So I'm just doing that, and that's why it's so easy, because you're just going to do free format basically. Next, I'm coming in with my darkest colour, and I'm imagining this is going to be where the shadows are going to be. So, and I'm putting in a few extra bits of grass. So the darkest bits are really going to be where our tortoise is, so where his feet touch the ground, that kind of thing, a little bit where his head is. And now I'm going to go to my medium colour and blend over and come out a little bit further. Now you'll notice that I've covered up all of my light colour, but that's okay because we're going to come back to that in a minute. And we can just add a few little spikes here and there. So now back to my light colour. What I like to do when I'm doing ground is really go over the top of everything with my light colour, and what that does, it kind of fades it a little bit, so it makes it look a little bit textured. So I'm going to keep going over it because I almost want it to blend and fade away. And then again, you'll see there's like a wobbly line. It's not dead straight, but what I have tried to do is line up the top roughly just a little bit above his feet, so that it looks he's standing in the grass, not floating on top of the grass, if that makes sense. So that's the ground, and every time you do it, it will come out slightly different. You can add those leaves in. There's just a couple of leaves, and again, because these are so tiny, they're sort of 2 seconds of work really. So I'm just flicking in with the lightest and the darkest, and I'm leaving it like that so that they look textured. There we go. So that's the grass done nice and quickly. And now we're going to move on to the shell. Now what I might do is show you a piece of it, but not all of it, because it will take quite a few minutes and I don't want you all to die of boredom. So let's focus on this top area here, and I will zoom in again. Whoops, too far. There we go. So we'll do this top segment and we'll do the little heart, and then I'll come back and show you when it's all complete. So we're using the same set of browns that I used for the little toenails, and again that's to give balance so that we've got a mirroring of colour on our little guy. So I'm going to start with E210, which is my lightest colour, and once again a nice coating of colour. And what you'll see is that this again is a slightly different set of browns to the browns that we used on the gnome's clothing, so that we can differentiate easily between one character and another. Now I'm going to go to my medium because I just want to sketch out where I think my shadow would be. So he's sitting on top of the tortoise, so you can see by the clues with the little dots that there's going to be shadow there. And this again is a curved kind of creature, so we make it darker at the edges. And I'm going to add some shading on the bottom there as well. And I'm curving it around because I want to give a feeling of roundness. Now I'm going to go back with my dark colour E170 and putting in some dark shadow using those dots as clues. And there we go. I'm going around. I'm going to just dab a little bit here because his shell sort of dips in and out and is layered, so I want to make it look like his own shell is cast in shadows. And I've just gone round and added some darkness. So now I need to go back to my mid-tone and blend that out a little bit. And just touch in here and there to try and make sure that it doesn't end up with too many straight lines. I'm going to just put that in there as well. There. So now you can see I'm left with a little light bit in the centre, which I'm going to just quickly brush around in circular little motions so that that can all blend in. And I'm just going to go back with my dark just to add a little bit of extra low light, I guess you'd call it, just to really emphasize. Okay, so there we have the first part of his shell. I'm going to go away and complete the rest of the shell, and then I'll be back with you. Okay, so I've finished off the rest of his shell, and now I'm going to come in just to quickly add a little highlight with the little heart. So for this I picked some quite bright colours because I wanted it to stick out, and they're pinkish red colours. I have gone for RP6, which is called Vivid Pink, and R4, which is deep red, for the dark area. Now, because it's only a small little heart, I'm just using 2 colours, and that will be more than enough in this case to make that pop. So my lightest colour, which in itself is quite intense, I am going to colour all over, and as you can see that would look nice just on its own really, but I am going to add just a little bit of shadow where the dots are and around like that, just to give it a little bit of dimension, and just a quick blend. And when that dries, that should make quite a nice little heart. So I'm going to zoom out so you can see the final picture. There we go. I am going to quickly colour in the butterfly, and again I think I'm going to use those 2 reds so we've got a bit of balance between the 2 areas and connection. And then I'm going to call it a day on this one. So thank you for watching, and once I've made this guy into a card, I'll post that up onto the social media as well, on the Facebook websites, so that you can see how it turned out in the end. Thanks for watching again, and have a great time. Bye!